What in the hell was that? The Summer Games Fest 2024. Talk about a fucking disaster. That was terrible. That was terrible. That was as bad as, for anyone who follows politics, Katie Britt's response to the State of the Union address that Joe Biden gave a few months back. That's the kind of bullshit that we're dealing with. It was literally that bad. 2 hours of almost nothing. They had nothing to show except at the very end when they showed the newest footage for Phantom Blade Zero. Everything else damn near was a waste of fucking time. And it was just embarrassing. Game after game after game, announcement after announcement after announcement. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. It was to the point where I was like, they must think that the majority of gamers are between the ages of 5 and 10 years old. Like, that's how bad it was. Almost every single game, it seemed like they were aimed at this young audience. It's like kids are not the consumers that are going out and are going to spend money on these products. Even if you do have kids, it's the parents that have to go out and spend their hard-earned money on these things. And I really don't understand who this was supposed to be for. And it mirrors back to what the issue was with the most recent Sony State of Play, and what the issue is with the industry in general. You know, Jeff Keighley, he came out on stage and he was talking about how the industry has been hit pretty hard this year with all of the industry layoffs and the studio closures. You know, there's a lot of truth to that. But at the same time, you have this big gaming showcase, the Summer Games Showcase. It's supposed to be the main showcase for video games each year, every single year. And you give all of these, low-profile indie developers the chance for the spotlight to give their games the chance to shine, and they show off a bunch of nonsense where you would be embarrassed to spend $5 on this shit. And it just kept going on and on and on, and I was like, I knew they weren't going to have a lot to show, but, I was hoping for at least, give me 2 games, man. Give me 2 games that we don't already know about, that has not been announced yet, that looks promising, and that's AAA. They didn't have a single fucking thing to show, and it was just terrible. The whole thing was just bad. 2 hours of bullshit. There were some softer spots to where I was like, okay, I can see myself playing that, but those games were very few and in between. So I'm just going to go over some of the announcements here. Obviously, the best thing that they showed was the newest look at Phantom Blade Zero. Again, this is a game that has already been announced. Looks pretty much the same as it did the last time. We're just, getting to see a little bit more of it this time. Now, a lot of people, they're questioning, I saw this in the live chat, and I have the same question even now. Is this game going to be another Souls-like? And I'm going to explain the problem real quick with the Souls-like genre. The Souls-like genre is one of the most oversaturated genres in video games right now, and it has been for years. I've been saying it, I've been speaking to the choir on that point for a long time. Multiple fucking times I have expressed my displeasure with the milking of the Souls-like formula in the video game industry. I'm tired of seeing a bunch of Souls-likes. Not only am I tired of seeing them, but another thing with Souls-likes and the genre within of itself, most of the games within that genre, all they do is copy off of one another. They only copy games that From Software has made because, From Software, that's the studio that pretty much engineered the entire formula. And From Software, they're the only company that's really benefited from the Souls-like genre in terms of, sales figures and awards and accolades and all that. Of course, any other company that makes a game within that genre, they're gonna try and borrow or straight up rip off most of the time what From Software has done with their games. What it's become this thing where game developers just become lazy and they're literally just copy and pasting the formula that From Software established, right down to the art style, the art direction, the mechanics, the way the characters move on screen, even basic things like enemy behavior and how the progression system is designed. It's one of the reasons why a very specific game that was shown in this showcase, it received a new trailer. I'm not looking forward to that game, and I'm likely not going to be playing that game at all. Souls-like genre is definitely overplayed. It's basically become the Call of Duty of RPGs, and me and a lot of other people don't want to see anymore. We want to go back to what a normal standard action game should be. This looks like it could have some elements from a Souls-like without leaning heavily into the difficulty. Now, you do have other Souls-like games that are like that. You have Star Wars Jedi games by EA. Those come to mind. Those are Souls-like games, but they don't emphasize the difficulty. They give you difficulty options. So this game looks like it'll fall within that same ballpark as far as that goes. But just looking at the HUD already, it looks very much like it could be a Souls-like game. It looks like you could have like an Estus Flask-esque healing system right here. It looks like that yellow bar could be a stamina bar, but I'm not entirely sure. And not only am I seeing that, with the player, but I'm also seeing it on the enemies as well. So that could be what this game is. It could be just a lighter Souls-like, or it could just be an action game that's borrowing some Souls-like elements as far as the gameplay mechanics go. At any rate, I'm not really interested in playing another Souls-like game. The last Souls-like game I covered on my channel was Elden Ring, and I fucking despise that game with a passion. I'm really sick and tired of Souls-likes. Now, this looks, fresh for an action game. I'm not convinced that it's not a Souls-like. I mean, even when the player was being attacked just now, if I go back a frame, so as the player is getting attacked by this boss right here, this yellow bar is going down as they're defending. So that's what that bar is. It's a stamina bar. So I think this is a Souls-like game. Again, it's probably most similar to the Star Wars Jedi games in terms of it not emphasizing, an extreme level of difficulty like most Souls-like games do. Already there's enough elements here just from the HUD alone that I'm seeing from some of the movement that tells me, yeah, it looks like this is just a typical Souls-like. From what I'm seeing, it looks faster paced. It's a lot more flashy. It's a lot more cinematic. So I'm still willing to give this game a shot. But it pisses me off that, with this game in particular, they release a demo for it, but they don't release the demo online, so everyone has the chance to play it and actually get their hands on it. Because this is a game clearly that, I have to play for myself in order to get the best idea of what it actually is and what it's going to be. Instead, the demo that they have is only available at these live game show events throughout the year. So you actually have to go to one of these events, be privileged enough to be able to go to one of these events in order to get your hands on Phantom Blade Zero in 2024. And I think that was a huge mistake. That's not even the norm anymore. Normally now, when the game gets a demo, it's released online so everyone has the chance to play it. So I don't know why they're doing this old E3 style bullshit to where, this game is only playable for those who, are able to go to one of these live game show cases in person. I don't know why they're doing that, but I think this was clearly the best trailer that they had in this entire showcase, and it came at the very end of this 2-hour live stream. So you had to suffer for a long time before you got to it, but it's ridiculous. Ubisoft, they did show a new trailer for Star Wars Outlaws, which is coming out later this year, and it looks good. It looks really good, and they're gonna have more to show at their Ubisoft Forward event. So that's something I'm going to be paying attention to personally. But we already knew this game was coming. This isn't a new announcement. We're just seeing a little bit more of it that we haven't seen before. And like I said, the game looks great. I don't have anything bad to say about it based off of, what they've shown in this trailer. It's coming out August the 30th, so, that was a good announcement, or, a good trailer nonetheless. They showed this this Harry Potter Quidditch game. I actually was selected months ago, I think towards the end of 2023 and going into 2024. I was selected to be part of the playable beta for this game. I still have the gameplay footage, I believe, on one of my laptops. The game is good as far as the gameplay goes. It feels like what a Quidditch game should be in video game form. My problem, though, is with the art direction. This Fortnite art style, which is extremely ugly and played out. And the game has a live service model, so I don't think that's going to fare well with fans. I think they should have just put Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy, considering Hogwarts Legacy just got summer update, and it's not even really a big update. They added like a character skin, the ability to respec points, and they added a new mission, but there's nothing drastically different that wasn't already in the game before. And considering the game is now well over a year old and there's still no Quidditch or anything like that, like I said, I think that was a huge mistake. So unfortunately, if you want to play Quidditch in a video game, this is your best option, which is beyond sad. Yeah, moving on from that, we had a new trailer for Black Myth Wukong, and this is the same game that I was mentioning before. Black Myth Wukong has been revealed since its announcement a few years ago. It's been revealed to be a Souls-like game, complete with your Souls-like stamina bar and your Estus Flask healing system. Just the way the characters move is pretty much the same. The lock-on system pretty much seems to be the same. There's nothing new about this game other than, yeah, the art direction and everything looks fantastic. Like, it looks good. I commend the art team, but from a gameplay perspective, there's nothing new here. Because it's been revealed to be a Souls-like game, and there's plenty of gameplay footage for Black Myth Wukong that's out now that you can search up and take a look at. I can only speak for myself. I personally have lost all interest, and I will not be supporting this game when it comes out later this year. Another notable trailer from the showcase is the release date trailer for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which is Budokai Tenkaichi 4. People who aren't in the know would look at this and think, oh, it's just another Dragon Ball game. But no, it's not just another Dragon Ball game. This is a part of the Tenkaichi series. There hasn't been a Tenkaichi game in well over a decade. I think there hasn't been one since, in the last 15 years, actually. It's great to see this series return because the Tenkaichi games, again, for those who aren't in the know, the Tenkaichi series is the definitive Dragon Ball fighting series when it comes to video games. A lot more than Dragon Ball FighterZ. And that's coming from someone who likes Dragon Ball FighterZ. Dragon Ball FighterZ is a great fighting game, but it's not Tenkaichi. It doesn't have anywhere near the same number of playable characters. it doesn't have the same level of spectacle because it is a 2D fighting game. So that sense of scale and the sense of power that you get with the Tenkaichi series, it doesn't resonate as well by comparison with Dragon Ball Fighter Z. And so, it's great to see another entry for this particular franchise. And, this is the first time we're seeing some of the Dragon Ball Super characters, that they're adding to this newest entry. So this is something I'm looking forward to, and this comes out October the 11th, which is 3 days after the Silent Hill 2 remake. That's 2 games in October that I'm personally looking forward to. That was a pretty good announcement. Then they showed off another thing that I thought was interesting was they showed off this free-to-play game. I believe it's based off of Ridley Scott's film, his war film, Black Hawk Down. Which my co-host and I actually covered that, did a review of that film a few years ago. But I think it's somewhat based off of that, or loosely based off of the events of, what took place. I thought it was Call of Duty that they showed off, but it's not. But it looks very similar to Call of Duty. But if I'm not mistaken, this is a free-to-play game. It's a co-op game. Shooting in this looks very precise, very reminiscent of what you would find in a COD game, a Call of Duty game. That may interest some people. I'm personally wanting to try this out for myself, and I don't know exactly when they plan to release this, but I've been dying for a new FPS game because we don't have too many of them that are worth a damn these days. I thought that was an interesting announcement. In the middle of this showcase, they had the Persona team, or one of the guys, some of the producers from one of the studios from Atlas, come out on stage and reveal a new trailer for Metaphor Refantasio, which is basically Persona. That's what it is. They were trying to explain, what the so-called personas are in this game because they go by a different name, but it's essentially just Persona. The gameplay is Persona-like. The art direction is very reminiscent of the Persona series, and basically this is Persona 6 without it actually being Persona 6. It's something I'm interested in trying out for myself, given I'm a huge fan of Persona 5, and I have played a little bit of Persona 3 Reload, and I've been enjoying that as well. I'm always down for another RPG from Atlas. And I think the last somewhat decent thing that they showed was this reveal for the DLC for Alan Wake 2. And they surprised everybody because DLC is actually coming out tomorrow. I do plan on playing the DLC, just not right away. One of the reasons I'm not too interested to play it like right when it comes out is because the DLC is basically 3 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. It's not really canon. It's a series of what-if scenarios, from my understanding. Now, it looks good. I like what they're doing with, putting the Jessie Faden character from Control in here. So she'll be playable in Alan Wake, just like, how Alan Wake was implemented for the DLC for Control. So they're doing that crossover thing that they do, that Remedy is known for. So I think this is, this was a good reveal. But again, it's DLC for a game that came out last year. It's not really all that special. So now I'm going to go into what some of the low points were for me personally with this showcase. Pretty much the whole thing was the low point, but I want to cover a few specific titles where I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? One of the worst reveals to me was this Lego Horizon game. Now, this game in particular was actually leaked a few weeks before the Summer Games Fest. I had already known about this game. There wasn't any concrete evidence that it was actually real. There was a good chance that it was authentic as far as the rumors and everything. Now, I was expecting something a bit different. This looks cheap as hell. I'm like, it really doesn't look good, from the animation to, you know, the camera angles that they've chosen for the gameplay. Everything looks just generic and just, I don't know, low quality. Considering this is based off of the Horizon series, you know, one of PlayStation's biggest franchises at the moment, I don't understand how the hell they thought this was a good idea. Now, if you know anything about the Lego games, you know pretty much all of them have been developed by Traveler's Tales, dating all the way back to 2005's you know, Lego Star Wars the video game. And their most recent one was Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Now, Traveler's Tales, they put in a lot when it comes to quality. If you play one of the standard Lego games from Traveler's Tales, there's a huge difference in quality if you compare pretty much any of their games to whatever bullshit that I'm seeing on screen right now. There's a huge difference in quality. This, it really doesn't look like it's worth more than $20. And that's me being generous. Definitely not something I'm looking forward to at all. In fact, this is a skip. It's just a straight skip. Horrible, just horrible reveal, bad trailer, just terrible across the board. They showed this this new horror game, Slitherhead, and I can't remember who actually this is from. I think they said it's from the creator of Silent Hill or something like that, but this shit looked very, very strange, even for, you know, a foreign game made by a foreign developer. It looked very weird. Like, if you've ever seen the anime Parasite, that's pretty much what this reminded me of, but not in a good way. Like, the animations for it looked strange. It has this Watch Dogs Legion type of, you know, game mechanic where you can switch between like different NPCs and whatnot. So it's giving me bad vibes from, you know, Watch Dogs Legion. I really just, it really doesn't look that great at all. I think this was one of the worst things that they showed. You have this Killer Bean game, and everyone was like, I don't know, fanboying over this trailer right here, and it just looks silly as hell, and not in a good way. This looks like something a high school student would come up with, like, in their head as they're sitting in class not paying attention to the instructor. That's how bad this looks. It goes back to that point of how the whole showcase really was like aimed at children instead of grown men and women who actually have money. I don't understand how anyone could be excited for something like this, because it looks stupid as hell. Very, very cringeworthy in every respect of the word. And then we have Dune Awakening. Now, they didn't show any gameplay for this, but I think this is going to be a huge missed opportunity, because the world of Dune, you know, just going off of the recent movies, has a very interesting world. I like the lore of, you know, the Dune universe. It would make for a fantastic video game, but the fact that they chose to make this an online MMO, again, I think that's really going to turn off a number of people, myself included. Very disappointed. It doesn't even look like it really follows the story of the books or the movies all that well. It looks like it's really going to be more of a standalone thing than anything else. Again, huge wasted opportunity. And almost everything else pretty much was just a waste of time. Like I said, this was a horrible showcase. It brought back flashbacks of some of the last few years of E3, because E3, before it was ultimately canceled, had some very, very terrible, egregiously terrible showcases. But this took it to the next level, as far as the bullshit goes. These game developers aren't even fucking trying anymore. It's like, what the hell are you doing? And then, you know, Jeff Keighley, every time they have one of these big gaming showcases, and, you know, they invite an audience and whatnot, and then live stream the whole event, Every time they host one of these things, they give all of these indie developers the spotlight, but then they don't have anything to show. They have nothing to show, and it makes you wonder why you're even spending your time watching the shit in the first place. And like I said, even with some of the good stuff that they did show, we already knew about Phantom Blade Zero, right? We already knew about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. We already knew that Alan Wake 2 was going to get a DLC expansion. We already knew these things. We already knew about these things. So it's nothing new. These announcements are nothing new. They did not show not one new AAA, IP. Not one in this entire showcase. Even something like the first Descendant, it's like you show off this fancy trailer, but there's no gameplay for it. And then when I searched up information on this game, I believe this is also going to be a free-to-play game as well, which means that, they're going to spam the hell out of microtransactions in order to monetize the game over a long, stretch of time in order to turn a profit. And we're seeing more and more free-to-play titles now, which is not a good thing for consumers. Like I said, this was very, very disappointing. The whole showcase was just terrible. Despite the select few titles that I mentioned, there was nothing here for pretty much anyone who's actually serious about gaming as a hobby. The next big showcase is the Xbox showcase, which is taking place 2 days from now on Sunday the 9th at 1 o'clock if you live in the East. I'm not expecting much from that. There's a rumor that they're going to announce a Gears of War collection from I guess the first 4 games in that particular series. If you game on PC like I do, you could just download an emulator and play, the old Gears of War games that way. And then there's this crazy rumor that they're doing yet another remaster of Halo Combat Evolved, which makes no sense because they already did a remake for that game, which is included in the Halo Master Chief Collection, which has been available since 2014. They, even redid the all of the game cinematics. They did the same thing for Halo 2 as well. Apparently, they're going to be putting it on PlayStation, which is fucking crazy. That game definitively, technically, is over 20 years old. And like I said, they already did a remake for that. I don't see how putting that game on PlayStation is really going to help them. It literally makes no sense. I really hope that's just a baseless rumor and it's not an authentic leak. They might show Avowed, they might show the new Indiana Jones game, but I'm not interested in either one of those. And thus far, I have yet to see the newest Doom that's been rumored, Doom: The Dark Ages. That's apparently been leaked. That was not in this showcase at all. I'm not really sure what the deal is with this Summer Games Fest, but thus far, it's not good. It's not good whatsoever. It's an unfortunate state of affairs. When I go in the chat and I see people in the live chat asking for games that that they want to see, and consistently these hosts and these game developers continue to drop the ball. You really have to wonder what is the point for consumers to pay attention to these events. A lot of people in this particular showcase were asking for Kingdom Hearts 4 for some reason. Personally, I think you're a fucking moron if you're looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 4 or anything from Square Enix at this point. I didn't see a whole lot of people spamming "Where's Wolverine" or anything like I did at with the Sony State of Play, the last Sony State of Play. So I didn't see that, but there were a lot of people that were asking for Kingdom Hearts 4. There were morons in the live chat asking "Where's Bloodborne?" It's like Bloodborne, it came out in 2015. If you want to fucking play it, go and play it. But it's ridiculous. I'm just tired of wasting my time watching these showcases and not really getting anything out of it. 2 hours of pretty much nothing. It's complete bullshit.